listening to the Local Earshot Podcast with your host, Johnathan Grissom. Let's talk about music.
Hello, everybody. This is Johnathan Grissom with More Bands Media and the Local Earshot Podcast. I'm here with Anarchy for Assholes and my co-host, Destiny Hart, the runner of Diatribe and pretty much the booker and everything else, bartender, everything in Grand Royale, which is where we are currently at. So.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me.
Hello, Dustin.
How are you guys at?
We're at the Grand Royal.
Yeah, we're good.
I don't know why I said it that way. How are you guys doing?
How are you guys
I'm
at?
Totally like
do?
off center right now. My brain is.
We're not too far from it. We've been home a month from a tour out east and still getting fines in the mail for driving.
Tolls,
yeah. Costs $100 to drive through Pennsylvania.
What?
yes.
One side
Yeah,
or the other.
$100 toll in the mail from driving through Pennsylvania.
Well, as long as you never drive through there again, those tickets can become wallpaper, and you can ignore them for as long as you're not in Pennsylvania. So, depending on how good your shows were out there,
Man,
will you be scheduling?
It might be worth the
know
money.
that they were worth that.
No, they were good, but I mean, $300 worth of tolls came in the mail now.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just pay it anymore on the toll road.
Yeah.
It comes in the mail, but it's been good. Just got back from Austin for the weekend and hanging out with people down there and seeing Exploited. And now we're getting ready to play with Noogie this weekend and got some new bass players we're trying out and just keep on going.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go into kind of how the band got started, kind of the background of both of you inside the music industry, and kind of what you guys got to this point with this band.
I had a guy from Chicago that put out a couple records of ours back in the 90s. And
Your old band.
yeah, my old band Pan out of Chicago. And for 10 years I was up in Northern Cal just growing marijuana. And when I moved here in 2011 to Oklahoma City, me and Genevieve, he came down from Chicago with a full band and said, "You're going to start playing music again?" So I did, and since 2012, we just been playing anywhere, anytime we can. You know?
And he said, "You're going to learn to play the drums because we'll never find a drummer here."
I mean,
And
I believe
so
that.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Have you ever asked bands how many drummers how many bands they play in? Someone would be like, "Oh, I play in 7 bands." You're like,
Yeah.
How do you have time to
9
play in all these
drummers,
bands?
We've had 20 different people in A-Fray so far,
Wow.
Yeah,
at least.
at least.
See, what year was the band officially formed?
2012.
12, okay.
We recorded downtown Oklahoma City after 2 days of practice. Recorded 6 songs, and then we went to Chicago for 18 shows in 16 days and never left Chicago. Just did the whole 3 weeks right there and went into another studio and recorded again.
Wow.
And that's when we moved back, or we were living here in Oklahoma City, and we came back, and she picked up drums, and we grabbed people that we used to play with in the 90s.
You shook your hand like picked up drums. Like, do you feel like you're still picking it up? Because
Well, yeah.
you're one of the fiercest drummers that I've seen.
Oh,
and
well, thank you. I'm not...
punk rock's like arguably easy to play, but it's fast. So it's like, it's not like jazz drumming or something, but like you have to play it really fast.
Although someone on tour accused me of being a jazz drummer, and I was like, "Are you like trying to be offensive?" Because secretly I'm flattered, but I think you're trying to be like low key rude. And so, no, I'm not a great drummer, but what I lack in skill, I make up for in assertiveness.
Avery is always fun to watch. I mean, you guys, it really is a different set every time because you are pulling members from. Like, where are your current members from? So there's always been you two, but...
Yeah, we have people from Athens and Pueblo, Colorado that can tour for a week or two anytime. But then the people in Oklahoma can't tour, so when we come back here, we have locals that will play local shows with us. I mean, we'll grab anyone. Chicago, Denver, Athens.
If we
the
can
last tour
sucker you into the van.
Yeah. And I mean, they get paid and they always like it. And shows on the road are always great. I mean, people are, buying merch like crazy. And
I mean, you put asshole on a t-shirt and people are like,
yeah.
can I get one in every color?
Yeah.
And I get called an asshole a lot now too.
What?
Which is strange.
The guy from Anarchy for Assholes is called an asshole?
It's like the one word in Chicago you don't say to your friends. Like, you can call them a cocksucker motherfucker all you want, but you call someone an asshole, it's like, who the fuck you call an asshole?
It's kind of personal, right?
Yeah.
How did I really offend you?
Like the assholes, they're the politicians. And the
When you do
cops
sound too, right? Like I've never had an experience where there was a sound guy who was like an asshole. Like they've all been super cool and nice.
Oh yeah, totally. That's their whole job.
Yeah, like they're like really patient and like don't care that they've done this 8 billion times this year.
Yeah, I asked a guy in Kansas. He had to be in his 70s. Like, how long you been doing this? And he's like, 35 years. I was like, man, how many bands? He's like, I don't know, and they all suck. I'm like, so why do you do it? And he's like, I own the bar, so I just do it. But he stayed all night for us, and he was like, hey, it was worth seeing you guys.
That's nice.
So
Worth seeing, I'll take it.
35 years, we gave him some kind of thumbs up.
Well, you can't own a bar for that long and not be, for what some of the sound guys here are asking, which, it's not that it's not worth it, but if they're not setting everything up from scratch, bringing all their own equipment and doing like 4 metal bands in a row, I'm like, $250 is kind of a lot of money. Yep. So Phil here, owner, does sound because we really can't take that money out of the band's pockets to just have somebody, adjust the gain.
Well, the sound here is like not as involved as some of these places because a lot of them they mic the drums and mic the drums is an extra 7 mics or 7 8 amps.
It's a big
here this little tin can shotgun room is like really easy, so it's not necessary to hire out.
Right.
Tell you what, everywhere we go now, you're guessing if there's even a sound guy. A lot of places on
you're guessing
tour.
if
they knew that you were playing that night. Right?
Sometimes you're guessing if there's a PA.
I mean, we bring a couple of our powered speakers with because we'll get places to where it's like, well, you're not going to hear anything unless we bring our PA in.
Yeah.
And they're just like, great, bring your own PA. That works for us. But like, all right, now I got to do all 4 bands. I'm the guy on tour.
So who's playing with you guys in your upcoming show in Tulsa? You guys are playing Mass Movement Community Arts, so you should get some. It's a all ages space. They've always been really communicative with me if I try to send them a band or ask them questions about their space. They've seemed really awesome. So
they were. We played
really nice and helpful.
But it's everyone from the album pretty much. Dustin and Rob.
Sweet.
they're always around and willing to jump on board for any show we got.
Well, and they come to every show. If they're not on it, then they're here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about every show we play. You look out in the crowd, and 10 of them have been in the band already. They're all singing the songs right along with me.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so let's talk about this album. It 2024, so you guys just now put it out. I was listening to some of these songs. Mainly the one that stood out to me was The Struggle, and then the 99%, which I mean, like, where do you draw your guys' lyrics from, and like kind of like come up with your ideas for music, and then what's your process of like doing your instrumentals and everything else to put it all together?
I mean, the songs are written about everyday life. Struggle was started probably a year before my liver gave out, and it just kind of switched to being about, working class and just barely getting by what you're working, and then at the same time, you're also just dying while you're living.
Yeah,
And
I feel that.
What I did for the 40 years, was great for me, but probably not for everyone around me.
Mm-hmm.
Or your liver, I guess.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through a similar thing because I got diagnosed with kidney disease. So,
Oh, no.
like, yeah, so I just, like, don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm on medications and stuff.
And the music, I mean, I usually just sing the tempo. I'll hum a tempo, and then someone comes up with it, and then we send it to the lead guitar player out in Athens, and he's got a studio there, so he'll get ours and listen to it and put stuff with it. And then we get it back here and add the lyrics over it. And it's not, real technical, but
Yeah.
Nathan is like a guy out of 76 from England, but he's not, obviously. But I mean, he plays like the old Buzzcocks, and his style it just fit perfect with our music, what we had going. And he puts his stuff over Rob playing guitar, which Rob's a great rhythm guitar, but has no leads, and he's just got that dirty rhythm. So with Nathan's clean, undistorted sound, it fit together nice. And other songs and other albums on here are 7 inches, whatnot. They've been done with so many different people. I mean, our first guitar player that came out in 2012 was the guitar player from my band, Penn, for 10 years. So he already knew exactly my style of what I sing, how I sing, and he writes stuff that he knows I'll be able to use.
Pretty much John just like hums at the band until we come up with what he's got in his brain.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you love that because you're like, all right, what am I going to do something with this now? But I mean, some of our favorite punk songs are just like, like pop in our head, like Cockspar, Buzzcocks, or, stuff like that is just like that simple hook that's just like the march, our anthem that,
Yeah, it can be 3 notes, and you throw
And you
that
gotta
little hook
Yep.
in there, and she plays great drums to it. And I mean, all the older punk bands and the people in them are like, having someone that keeps it simple is like amazing, because so many drummers want to just go off and be the lead guitarist. In the
Would
band.
drummers like to embellish?
Yeah.
This is so great. I'm learning so much today. These are my favorite jokes to make to every single band. But there's so many bands that come through here, so I always seem clever. Or they seem really
I
polite.
mean, you
I introduced
guys
her
do
to a
have a
band
lot
one
of
day.
bands.
I introduced her to a band one day, this artist, and she just looked at him and she goes, "Oh, what's your band name?" And then he said his band name was like Studio House, and she's just like yeah, that's real original. She's like, let me guess, a bunch of real estate stuff pops up on Google whenever you type in your name. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, like I try not to be too critical about it, but it's like, just Google it. Just see what's out there before you choose that completely like vanilla name. Just like Anarchy for Assholes, you're going to get A for A every time. But, I don't want to call out any names
how
here.
many bands are out there, and it's like, how did they not YouTube this band name?
Yeah, and they're new. Like, it's not like, when you guys, well, even, 2012, there was YouTube and stuff, but like, for your first band, John, like, you weren't like necessarily able to YouTube that yet. But
No. That was, our first band was named after or by a band called Motherload out of Spokane. And it was Pen Permanently Erect Nipples. Yes, we all had our nipples pierced, and when you pierce a nipple, that thing's gonna stay hard forever.
Oh, should we listen to one of these tracks here?
Yeah, we can.
Let's listen to Struggle.
Struggle? All right.
One punch in the living, the others in the grave, and we're all just chilling, some to make a living wage, slave to no master, takes and never pays, always holding on to hopes and dreams, he knows are out of reach. We all have to struggle, on the free and land of the brave. Go on, rich in the system, like against a factory. We all have to struggle, on the free and land of the brave. Go on, rich in the system, fucking company. Indentured servants to our corporate class, slaughtering and colonizing countries till this day get a pass. In the name of religion, technology destroys the past. Humanity's a virus on this earth, and I don't wait to see her shake her ass. We all have to struggle, on the free land of the brave. Go on, rich in the system, like against a factory. We all have to struggle, on the free land of the brave. Go on, rich in the system, like against a company. Toe to toe we hold the line, with the future of our youth in mind. But then we'll struggle on and on, till freedom is unbound, We'll tear down the doors of the oppressor, set fire to the courts. For every punk who falls, there's 10 more come to call, and we can bring the fury. Your fucking system is morally fucking bankrupt.
That's what I call it. Service.
Yeah.
Man, I really love Slaughter and the Dogs, and that's why, like, your songs like this, like, just, I love them so much. They're just like that classic, like, rock and roll with, like, a smack in the face of punk rock. It's just, it's up my alley. I love it.
That's
Right.
what we're going for.
We've got 8 new songs that we've been trying to play, but when you got 20 different band members, it's hard to write new songs because you never know who you're going to play with next.
I keep saying for February 14th, I just need to book it because now, like, February 14th is coming up pretty fast already. But I want to do, like, a speed dating thing for bands. Because I figure, like, most of our crowd either doesn't do Valentine's Day or, like, you know, for people in relationships, like me and Phil, or, like, even if we did bartend on Fridays, you know, we're not going to go out on Valentine's night.
Yeah.
So I want to do, like, a speed dating thing with, like, have my rhythms loose drummers and bassists, like, you know, sit on one side of tables, and then, like, bands just, like, you know, cherubic little guitar players, like, do you want to be in our band? What are your influences? What do you like? And, you know, just try to, like, match up some loose ends so that, you know, for my purposes, to have more bands in the city.
I'll
Yeah.
host
Yeah.
it for you. Just like tell them, hey,
So-
get off stage.
You're not trying to
Switch.
hook them up with girlfriends. You're just
No,
trying
I'm
to
trying to hook them up with
bands.
Band
the
members.
reason why their
Members.
girlfriends will break up with them.
Or you know, maybe it will help them get girlfriends. You know, if they get in
Hey,
the band.
last
man, I
year
worked
we
in
had
20s,
a
so-
show the day after Thanksgiving in San Francisco, and I was like, why aren't we having the San Francisco show on Thanksgiving,
Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day, and they're like, great idea, and put it all together, and it was a great show. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like right on the ocean. What's that place called?
Pacifica, Winter's Tavern. Those
Yeah.
guys are awesome.
And there was quite a few.
Oh, what town did you say?
Pacifica. It's,
It's in San
Yeah,
in the
I've
bay.
been there.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's a cozy little place.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get to
Winter's
stay
Tavern is
upstairs.
rad.
Yeah. I stood there with MDC.
We were there
Yeah.
for like 3 days.
I love those guys.
They are really good people. I
Yeah.
love this.
They
So
treat
did you
the
just
bands
play
good.
there on your second to last tour?
Right,
Yeah.
the one in February.
We've played
went to
there a
West
couple
Coast?
Yeah.
times. So,
Yeah, that was our second time we've been there, I think.
yeah.
So you just did West Coast, then East Coast, back to back. So what's the comparison there? Each one of them was about a month or 3 weeks, or
It was set up that way.
West Coast was a month.
Yeah.
And then the East Coast one, I had a lot of issues with booking on that one.
15 shows in 28 days.
Oh, man.
And because things kept getting dropped and dropped. So,
what were the reasons they were given for dropping the shows?
I feel like August is not a good time to tour. It was
Yeah.
really hard to find other bands that wanted to play.
So the venues out there, they're like, well, all right. So you send them an email, and they're like, yeah, you can have the date, and then
And you
Yeah,
have to
you
do
find the
everything.
bands.
and you find the bands.
Yeah,
Like, they don't have like
which
a
is
roster or like any
No, and
suggestions.
There were
or-
so many festivals
Not ideal.
going on that people are like, we're not allowed to play 3 weeks before.
Oh,
or
they all have
after."
radius.
All the big punk fests are in August, you
I
know,
mean, we
Punk
did play,
Sylvania
like, with
and Muddy
Blank
Roots. And
77. We
Yes, I
played
love
with,
them.
they were rad.
Yeah.
That brothels.
Where did you play with them? In Jersey?
In New
Yeah.
Jersey,
Okay.
Great place in New Jersey.
Jay books at Salty's, but I guess they're done doing Salty's now. But they do a lot of really cool shows there, and they were delightful people.
Yeah, it's weird because East Coast, like, they always have stuff going on, and like even if the cities are like 30 miles apart, like you know, it's
Yeah,
a couple
it's-
hours travel.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're
It
where you're
is.
gonna go before like 4 p.m. Mm-hmm. But
We had
it's
12
hard to get
in
on
a
shows
row,
there.
and all 12
They were
shows
good
in a row were
shows.
good, and everything was going good, and then it just slowly would have been like 5 days off, one show in Baltimore, another 5 days off, 2 in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So you
we're
guys have a
gonna
lot of friends. Are you were you able to like stay with people out there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were staying
that's
with
we do
people.
get to visit friends on tour, which is cool.
I
That's
mean,
good.
both of us were travelers for 20-some years of our lives.
Yeah, I would hate to think of you guys having to like buy a hotel or
Hopping.
something, like unless you wanted to treat yourself. But like,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean,
people-
there's
Yeah.
hotel occasionally, you know.
On a
but
month-long tour, a
You have
hotel
to
once a
a
week
couple
is kind of
times.
neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're
but yeah,
old.
it definitely adds up though. 5
Yeah.
days is like, you know,
For
cost
sure.
you a whole tour just to
And
do that.
the thing about the East Coast, the merch doesn't go as well. West Coast, we were $250
Yeah, we were
a night. And
flying out of there.
East Coast was $50 a night, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at least you don't have to spend as much on gas out there.
Right.
No, just tolls.
Just tolls.
Just tolls.
Hundreds of dollars of tolls. Like, can I give you this T-shirt for my toll tax?
Back
Can
in
you
the
buy, like,
day,
3
you
t-shirts,
probably
I can
would
pay
have
this
gotten
toll.
away
Right.
with that.
Right.
Back in the day.
Need the paper map. Got to find the side roads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Turn the tolls off on your GPS.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in cahoots.
How many tours did we do where you would get directions from people that would be like, a red house, take a right.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
we'd be all over the country with a notebook and little things on how to get places. Now everybody's on that phone.
When you call from a payphone and you get somebody's mom answers and they're like, "Oh yeah, Billy said he was having some friends over tonight. Do you guys like tuna?" You know, mom will feed you. Like, there's the house on the corner. It's red.
Yep.
That's how I met all the Oklahoma punks in 1991, calling from the Book Your Own Fucking Life. And Mike Standrich's mom said, "They're downtown playing a show, doing that punk rock." And I went right there and moved into a house that night with some people. And here we are, Oklahoma.
Man, the
30
days
years
when
later.
they're downtown playing punk rock and you'd have to check out like 20 clubs to figure out where your friend's band was playing and then chase them
What
around
was
as they
it?
got multiple
The
shows. Right?
Planet something.
That was in Norman. Planet
Oh,
Earth.
No, it wasn't Planet Earth then. It was in Oklahoma City. And all the Nazi
Was it the
skinheads
castle?
were there.
Like Norman, the what do you call that one place? The castle or whatever. The one that looked like a castle. It had like a what do you call it? A sandwich shop in the front.
Oh, I don't
And
know
the back
that one.
used to play bands. Like,
Yeah.
It was right off the highway in Norman. But
I
I don't
think,
know the name
who
of
was it that was
Okay.
seen there? Not 7 Seconds, maybe Fugazi.
Maybe.
Yeah, there was a gunfight in the parking lot.
They really just don't make punk rock shows the way they used to.
No, and I mean, and then with, like out here, we'd always have like the house parties and stuff, and like we got in a lot of trouble back then. Like,
Yeah, you know, when your neighbors aren't also punk rock, they weren't
Yeah.
invited.
Yeah.
They're not happy.
Tell you what, I mean, hanging out with Gore at a house show in Oklahoma City, and I didn't know who these people were, but they were just like
These people.
punk rockers, and then they're like, "We're Gore," and I'm like, "So you guys are just punks?" They're like, "Yeah, like that's just a thing we do for the band." Like, I don't know, I didn't listen to Gore.
I mean,
They were like the good Kiss.
theatrics, that's for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
The good Kiss. Kiss is okay sometimes.
But then Flipper played that night in
Flipper's
in,
nuts.
You know, a 2-bedroom house right down the street from here.
it's crazy.
Wow. So, what's your next move? So you're writing some songs right now.
Yeah.
Are you also planning another tour anytime soon? Or
I think we're gonna take off this winter and put away some money for Europe. I mean, neither of us. We've been touring around since early '90s, and we've never been able to get out of this country before. I mean,
yeah.
I
Have you guys
don't-
thought about going over there with another band?
No, but I would figure we'll
If
talk
someone
to
offered.
a band there. Like, I've talked to a lot of people from there, and we can get a band there that will go on tour with us. It's just more of like making sure these countries are going to let us in. So we
Oh,
have,
yeah.
I might have a connect, I guess, because
Yeah.
the previous person that the episode I'm about to put out with the member that I spoke to it, whenever we opened up the interview, it was a remote, and she was from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. So I asked her, you know, I was like, how'd you hear about my show? And she said her manager was in Sweden, and he listens to
Whoa.
the show.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's like an outside connect, European connect that
Yeah.
I just now got. So
Yeah,
I might
Europe
be able to
isn't-
send people their way.
If you're able to get into Canada, do you know if you're able?
No.
You
No.
can't get into Canada.
We cannot.
we can get into Europe.
I was gonna
but,
say
like,
if you can get into Canada, then you can get anywhere in Europe. But if
Right.
you can't, then
I mean, like Poland, you know,
What I
Czech,
hear is Europe is a
Germany,
little easier.
Europe, they'll let you in even with, you know,
Records and stuff.
drug charges. Canada or England now, even a DUI, you're not getting into Canada.
And England would be cool.
And
but
England's
I think
doing
you guys
like
could-
what
harder to
Canada
get
is
in
doing.
there.
Germany, Poland, and
Yeah.
like Central Europe would be awesome.
And that's where we're from anyway.
Theoretically.
Yeah. So when do you think that would happen? Like next year? Or?
Yeah, over
Yeah.
the summer. Yeah,
Probably next summer.
The
Well,
record
next
label
summer,
we're on.
We're just going to chill the winter and write
No,
songs
No,
and
book it now.
do some local
Yeah.
stuff.
Book it right now because they book like 9 months out. A lot
Yeah,
of places. So.
I know. That's the other thing that drives me crazy. I'm like, I don't know what's happening in a year.
I know.
The last 3
Yeah,
years
it's
of
one
our
those things
lives
that you
have
just
been
have to throw it,
so.
stick it at a wall and hope you make it out
Yeah,
there.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Like people, you want to play a show in May? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, I'll say yes. I don't know where I'll be in May. That's 7 months from now. And I've also like died 3 times in the last 4 years. So
Wow.
So I don't mean to laugh.
no, I know.
Oh no! When other people are picking off things off their agenda, like, well, I don't know, I might move, or like, my relationship, I don't know what's going on with that, and you're like, I don't know, I like died, and we gotta write this record, like,
Yeah.
you guys have a little more going on. And
Keep it
Got
real.
a lot of
at least.
people, yeah, but he's okay. He'll be fine. Mostly, probably.
what wouldn't be the worst thing to end up in a European hospital? Like, you probably come home with like, they'll be like, well, this guy needs a new liver. Get him a liver stat. Like,
I think the biggest issue I ran in with European hospitals was that I was having acid reflux disease, and I was having really bad, like my insides looked like Swiss cheese. And I went to the doctor, and they were like, oh, yeah, like you were deployed with Americans, and you were in an American base, and you were eating American food, and well, we don't have that problem in Europe. We don't have problem with
Wow.
acid reflux in Europe like this, so we don't got doctors for you. You have to go back to America if you want surgery. And
oh God,
Yeah.
like it's an American disease.
so it's an American disease, which people don't even think about. There's a lot of diseases that are American diseases. Apparently, we're called the American experiment over there, so they're
Oh,
experimenting on us.
When I host Europeans at the house, like if I'm feeding them, I'm like, all right, what's the cleanest basic food? I'm like, all right, vegetables, rice, beans.
Yeah.
Just feed them all like clean vegan field greens.
Rice and vegetables and
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
Just meat and vegetables. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So do you guys have any other shows booked for the rest of the year? There's this Friday,
Saturday in Tulsa.
November 27th.
And a thing in November.
It's with the, what's their name?
Rumble? Is that right?
Rumble.
Yeah.
Rumble.
Oh, the Rumble. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Where's that going to be?
It's at a new bar that's opening up in.
I thought it was an art thingy.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been
White
previously
Rabbit?
booked it. Oh,
Is that
White
a thing?
Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the
All
White
right.
Rabbit. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a coffee shop, and they also serve alcohol.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
make that up out of my
Shop.
brain. Great.
Yeah, they're behind the farmers market building. So
Oh.
like Powerhouse is
It's
at the
over
end.
there.
They're
Okay.
at the other end.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fairly new.
Yeah,
I
there's
like
a
it
party
over
in
there.
June, I think.
It's like it's 2 days before or after Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving.
It's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So he was saying there's going to be a bunch of people coming in that are coming
It
to
should be
visit
fun.
family, whatnot.
And then we
So-
had something else, but then it didn't happen. Now I don't remember what it was. So
Yeah.
sorry.
That when I deleted off my calendar,
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
I
I
don't
need to put it in a delete.
know.
We've
Yep.
been putting the band members together to write the new music. And more than doing shows, let's get the new songs down and possibly get recorded.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're going to be performing, then that's what
Yeah.
you'll train your new staff on.
And I mean,
Yeah, pretty
if that
tired
put on
of
a record
the
label,
album.
I want to use it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not use
Yes,
it,
we
but
are on
we
Pig
love
Records.
Pig Records, and they like us. And I mean, out of 37 years of doing this, I mean, he came up to me 1 year sober and said, "Don't beat me up, but you're like a really good stand-up-ish guy. You seem to have respect
No
for
offense,
the
but-
crowd."
Yeah. I believe he
Right.
called us professional.
I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, like,
Using that statement in
like,
Oklahoma.
I mean, coming from a record label owner who, like, now is like, oh yeah, I've been
He's like-
paying G.G. Allen's brother for 30 years for some of his records that I put out.
I mean, he's like a
So-
punk rock historian kind
Yeah.
of guy.
I'll
So
say
he's
so.
been at it for a long time.
His label's P.I.G Records, and that's because him and P.I.G Champion went to high school together, so they were good friends all through Poison Idea and everything.
Wow.
So, I mean, like how he don't know us, we don't know, because he was like, I went to every show in Seattle, and we played in Seattle in like 92, 93.
That was Hate Farm.
Penn did too with Christ on a Crutch, and he's like, I went to all their shows, and now Christ on a, or the guy that, who's the guy, Jack Endino, is the guy that mixed our album, and he was the one that recorded Nirvana's first album for that other record label out of Seattle.
Sub Pop.
What is
Sub
in the
Pop.
water out there? Like, just
Yeah.
Seattle's just
They got
always had
really
great
good
music.
musicians.
Yeah, they're
Crime
known
Times
for it.
from Seattle, right?
Yeah.
They're like
They're-
almost Portland.
Yeah, so it's cheap Portland. It's like right over the border of Washington.
Oh, yeah.
They,
Cheap
they
Portland.
split up from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was too bad. They were supposed to play
Yeah.
last year, I think, or I think a year ago, and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
Few things.
but it's nice out there. It's just so far away from everything, but yeah, it
Yeah,
rains
we
all the
went
time.
up
There's
there and
nothing to do
played.
but play your instrument, probably. And
This was, explains why the
That's
bands
why
are
they're
so
so good. Yeah, sitting in their house, just
yeah, just trapped
locked in,
indoors.
locked in their basement, just playing music.
pretty sure weed was legal out there, even when it wasn't.
Yeah.
When you go way back in the time frame, it was probably psychedelia and everything else. You know, so.
Quite a bit of that.
It
Yeah.
was there in the 90s, I know that.
All right. Let's see. We went over everything, I think, almost, right?
Wow.
I think. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys
Is
want
that
to
at
talk
least
about?
like a C+?
Oh, we should probably mention like Nathan that plays lead guitar on our album is
Yeah.
it's his band from Athens on the other side since it's a split, and
Yeah.
they're called Beat Up, and they are fucking badass.
Yes, they're a lot of fun to listen
Yeah,
to.
they are solid, and they do new stuff all the time. They're real good at social media, which we're not. So they put out new music a lot. And people should check them out if they like us, because different sounds, similar vibe is what I'd say.
It makes for an excellent split. I think that's the
Yeah.
only 12-inch split that I have. So, like, pretty
Uh.
good, most of an album on each side.
Yeah.
So, for punk, you can really squeeze in
Yeah.
like, more
I mean,
songs.
It's all the songs we know.
We
songs
had
per side.
planned on doing the split with them, so when Dave from P.I.G Records said he'd put an album out of us, I was like, we're going to add Beat Up, and he was like, all right, 2 bands out of the South, that'll work for us too. And now I'm going to do another split record and just keep it going. I mean, there's friends of ours from LA and Lewd Platoon. And they've been hooking us up for 5 years now whenever we're on tour, so we're going to do a split with them.
Seems like a smart move in a market where
Get
so
2
many bands are
bands
doing
out.
just singles. They're releasing
Yeah.
single after single after single, which
Yeah.
for
kind
like
of what
Low
the-
Down Weasel, that's really smart and great, and for a lot of bands because to press you're looking at over $1,000 and a wait time that's all right. We're ready to play our next album already. So
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of a control factor with the industry because, like, what they're doing, they kind of force artists to have to do singles, and then you're constantly like trying to stay up because you can't be on certain playlists and stuff. You can't be on certain playlists and everything. Like, if you don't have like. If you try to put out a whole album, you can only put certain songs on a playlist. But if you put out singles, you can add yourself to these playlists on all these platforms.
You're always current.
constantly. What
Right.
they're doing is they're doing that so they can control how artists can actually not get on the mainstream list. And so they're not getting on Billboard and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then a lot of Billboard and all that is being controlled by Apple and Apple iTunes, which is controlling the ability to actually become famous. And then what they do is that when you go to claim your royalties on this music, they are trying to make it where you have a harder time collecting your royalties if you don't do the paperwork right. and then that money just sits there. And if it sits there too long, they automatically transfer it over to the major record labels and the major artists. Thus, they're ripping off and building their whole careers off of ripping off local artists.
What?
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
just
something
kidding.
that people, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean, it's,
exactly.
I say it a
Music-
lot on this episode, but like,
Music industry
industry's
is
ripping
evil.
people off.
It's corrupt.
Oh my God, yeah, but I mean, but it's just this
All
thing
industries
that, like,
are
you know,
corrupt.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right.
I mean, the way
I mean-
we did it was $2,000 for our band, Beat Up, and $2,000 from the record label, and then we all get 333 albums. We've already sold 150 probably, and
Yeah.
it'll be 1 year on Halloween this year.
I know it's
So, I
not
mean-
the best business model, but I'd rather play live for people than deal with all the online stuff.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
it just seems like then it's just like here and then it's gone, and
Yeah.
you know.
I would have rather been a promoter in the 80s and 90s. And
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
making
yeah.
flyers and passing them out and just
Yeah.
like here. But like, for
And
anybody that's a
everyone
business.
in town
Mm-hmm.
was going to be there with, everyone and their 5 friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like music was the only game in town. Like
Uh-huh.
even television wasn't really up to
Especially punk rock. I mean,
binging, streaming.
Right.
in the late 80s, punk rock was fairly new. You're only talking about maybe 10 years.
There was only one kind of
70,
punk rock.
74.
And there was only one kind.
Oh,
It was
man.
all just punk rock.
Subgenres weren't the thing as
Some
much either.
genres are
Yeah.
insane nowadays.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, now everybody has to be a content creator and a videographer, photographer, influencer, and content creator, and
I'm
it's
not.
just like all of that. But then you also have to produce the art that is.
Yeah, and then I have to book and I have to drive and I
Yeah.
have many other things going on. So that is the one that kind of gets like pushed off to the side.
Which is
For
interesting. 'Cause
me.
that previous artist I interviewed, like, I asked her the same questions. Like, what how do you do your own booking? Do your own this, whatever? She's like, oh, my manager does that, and it is the case for the manager. Like, managers, that's their whole job. The management teams for artists, they do
I
all that
would
work.
use one.
Problem is that you have to have the money to pay these people to be able to
Right.
do that work, or you have to give them percentages of everything you make, which is another
Yeah,
a
and
deal that you have to write. And
Then
it's-
I have one more a-hole to deal with
Yep.
in my life.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
you only want to deal with the a-holes in your band, Like
That's plenty. That's plenty. Yeah.
Want is a strong word.
Yeah.
Some days I'm sure.
Want, need.
No, I wouldn't mind having a booker, but
Yeah,
one thing at a time.
Right.
Let's.
So if
I'm happy if we have a bass
listener
player.
came to me and was like, what is this band about? And just a song that I could play for them to kind of give them exactly what your band is. Like, what song would that be? We'll
Man.
play that song.
Pledge no allegiance. The new, off the old recording from Chicago.
That one? He probably doesn't have that one.
What?
One off this album.
Oh, on this album?
Well, I mean, in any, I guess I don't know. I have, let's see what ones I got on here. This is on Spotify. I can go on other platforms, but because it's my phone. So.
No, I mean, every song on there is going to be
I think maybe
about
We Are the 99
same
just because
thing, yeah.
that covers like the struggle, that covers like, people, community, snitching, like, just serving one another, but like then there's so many of us that are under this thumb. So We Are the 99 is really
Yeah.
it's
All-
anti-establishment,
all of our
it's
songs
Kind of what
anarchist.
is-
all of them are, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's, I mean,
that one's
when-
catchy.
Do you wanna play
Songs
that one?
that get you mad are the ones I like. Because then you know why you're playing them and you mean every word on there.
Yeah.
They have to get you mad. If not, I'd be playing pop.
So we want to listen to the 99 then?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's do that.
Talent falling, people jumping. Money's diving, profits rising. There's no change to nothing same. What can do, what else can fuck you? We are, we are. We are, we are. We are, we are.
you are out and about and you are in the plaza, you should go out and check out the Grand Royale. That was a total word twister. And come in and say hi to Destiny and say hi to Phil. Excellent workers out here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're running
Phil.
this bar like champions. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna be Phil
they
for
play
Halloween.
more music than any other venue out here. That they're playing bands that no one's playing, and that's important because like a lot of these places are being very, very picky on who they play and who they give airtime to. So
I will pretty much take anyone. We've had 100 shows this year as of last couple weeks ago, so
my notifications.
taking all comers.
So
Hey, they let Anarchy for Assholes play.
Right.
Anytime.
They'll let anybody play here.
So thank you for Anarchy for Assholes for being on the show.
Oh, really?
Thanks
Really
for having
appreciate
us.
Anarchy number 4 assholes. Check them out.
it. Number 4 Assholes. Is that the website? Social media? FOR. Okay. Yeah. So go check that out. And as for the Local Earshot podcast, I run for the Value for Value program, which is time, talent, and treasure. I value everyone's time for listening. If you are in a band and you want to be on the show, that's my talent. Then hit me up at john@thelocalearshot.com or on any of the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, even got a TikTok now, I guess. I don't know. I hate social media. Then if you want to donate to the podcast, you can go over to the localearshot.com. There's a tab that says donate. You click on that tab, and then I take Cash App, Venmo, Bitcoin, pretty much anything that turns into money. All money goes to help process the show and hopefully one day get me a studio because I'm trying to make this a more professional thing that I can do on a daily basis. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.